Hello everyone, welcome to the next chapter of WD Gann Trading Techniques. This should be part 7 and probably let me see the details. Maybe the next part which is there, and let's try to continue further on the part. We were last time trying to see about cotton. That cotton was there on page number 2 in chapter number 1, and after that the last time it had come on page number 276, chapter number 25. So again, if we go by the same formula of subtraction, we get 274, and here we get 24. Now what we know about 24 in the cycle is most important thing that we know is 24 is the number of hours which are there in one day, right? So this is something related to the earth part. And second thing which we had seen is it was 274. So what is 274? Let's try to do our math cycle if we are able to get something related to 274. We're not getting anything by 274. Let's try by 27. 27 in the moon cycles, we are seeing 27 days. And we see 27.3, which is days of rotation revolution of the moon around the earth, right? So this is what we get as an information and correlation between this 274 and 24. So 24 we understand is the number of hours required by earth for one rotation around its own axis, and 27.3 is the time required by moon to revolve around the earth and also to rotate around its own axis. Let's try to see and search something on Google about this part. So we go to Google. How many days to complete a rotation around earth? Right. So what we come to know is, first thing, this movement is from the moon's orbit, which takes 27 days, 7 hours, and 43 minutes to go full circle. It causes the moon to move 12 to 13 degrees east every day. This shift means Earth has to rotate a little longer to bring the moon into view, which is why moonrise is about 50 minutes later each day. Now, this is something new that probably I was not knowing before I started reading this book, but through Google, I was able to get much more information. This is how the book is. You have to dig in more information so that you are able to understand about what exactly Gyan wanted to say. Right. Let's try to get some more information from Topper, Vedantu, all of them together. Uh, let's go to Topper first. How much time does it take for the moon to complete one revolution around the earth? So various answers have been given. Correct answer is D, that is 27. Moon completes one revolution around the earth in about 27 days. This time period is known as sidereal month. Now again, something a new information. I was only knowing about one thing, but here we are getting some more information also. Moon cycle through all its phases is 29.5 days. The time taken to go through all the cycles is known as synodic month. The average speed of moon is of 2 to 88 million per hour, but it moves at different speed at different times during its orbit. It moves faster when it's closer to Earth, but it moves slower when it's farther away. So it's something just like our stop loss. Maybe probably the Earth is like our stop loss, and it moves faster when it is coming closer to our stop loss, and once it hits our stop loss, after that it starts moving up, and probably towards the target it is like moves slower when it's farther away. Don't take it other way. This was a joke, nothing like it. But let's try to get the information which is there. So what we understand is something called as sidereal month, which is 27 days, and we know about something which is called a synodic month. Now these are two different aspects which are there. These are more of from astronomy, astrology point of view. So we'll get probably more of into the details of these things later on, but this is the basic understanding which we are trying to see. And we also know that the moon at times travels faster when it is closer to the earth. So that's why at times it happens that the price keeps on moving faster, and at times the price does move more of in a slower way. So that's probably more of to do with the gravity of the earth towards the moon. So if you're able to measure those things, probably you will be able to understand something in terms of price. I'm not more of into astrology as such specifically, but yeah, probably if you're able to work out on those things, maybe that will help you. Second is something related to Vedantu. This is a website which is there. Again, how much time does it take for the moon to complete one revolution around the earth? So again, same date. Hint, the sidereal time of the moon is the time required for its revisitation of a similar situation against the foundation of stars. The moon circumvents the earth in a solitary day. Earth and the moon circle about their barycenter, which lies around 4,600 kilometers from Earth's middle. Probably again something technical, more of information of geography which we have not studied previously. Complete step-by-step solution. Earth and the moon circle about their barycenter, the regular focal point of mass, which lies around 4,600 kilometers from Earth's middle, about 72% of its sweep. All things considered, the separation of the moon is around 3,85,000 kilometers from Earth's middle. So that is center to center distance, which compares to Earth's 60 Earth radii, or 1.282 light seconds. So 1.272 is somewhere like 1.272 of our Fibonacci extension, maybe just a wild guess. The moon contrasts from most satellite of different planets in that its circle is near the elliptic plane rather than to its essential tropical plane. Uh, Probably more difficult to understand. The moon's orbital plane is slanted by around 5.1 degree uh, regarding the elliptic plane, while the moon's tropical plane is inclined by just 1.5 degree. Here are a few distinct periods related to the lunar cycle. This is to do with the lunar cycle with the moon. The sidereal month is the time it takes to make one complete circle around Earth as for the fixed stars. So, sir, Earth is like a star and the satellite moves around it. So, this is what they are trying to say. It is about 27.32 a day. So, same thing that we had identified over here, that it is 274. So, comes nearer to somewhere around 273. So, if we do the calculation, probably it's 11.41. So this may be probably something else, but at this time, at least we know that, okay, this is related to the moon part. So in other language, we can say that, okay, cotton trading, if we are doing trading into cotton as such specifically, so you should look at the moon cycles, how they have been growing related to the earth. So this is what we understand. So let's go to the next pages, probably try to understand something more. We were there on page number 2, where we came to know about the cycles. So we had marked that on page number 2. Let's go further and try to see what are the next clues that we get. Again, something related to Bible, probably who are more into details of reading Bible, they can understand this verse which are there and what they are trying to interpret. Again, the same thing coming over here. He starts going to maybe Sunday school, and from there he also goes to school. School was at a later time, and no more clues, no more clues till this part. And we go further. Any other clues which is there? This is the timing that I've written. Maybe probably I've taken a break at that time. And yes, we get some other clue which is there. I'll just read it for you. He told his mother that he intends to build a bicycle someday that he could ride on water. Now, generally, what I understand is bicycle or a bike or a cycle which is there. We are generally able to ride a cycle or a bicycle on road, which is on surface transportation. But here he is talking about something to be driven on water. I expect more of to be boat or something like that. But because he's talking about bicycle as a specially, so which is probably a bit sounding different to me. Let's try to understand what are this and what are to do with the bicycle. So bicycle comes to us on the first part, bicycle. So first time it has come on page number 7, second time on page number 10, then 16. 16 is page number 11 over here. Bicycle tires, again about the same things which are there. And then we come to page number 293. So let's do our same things that we have been doing previously. Let's try to identify from page numbers, times, and other things if you are able to find some clues which are there, right? So cotton was first of all on, no, we were on bicycles. So bicycles for the first time we got it on page number 7, chapter 1, and for the second time on page number 293 that we saw. So it was 293, and the chapter for this is just further, just further, nothing on the back side. Probably let's try to find anything on the further side, maybe. Oh. So we have chapter number 26. So this is chapter number 26. If we remove 26, 1 from 26, we get 25, 25 the square. And again, if we remove 7 from 293, it is 286. Again, previously we got 25, 25 like in this, which was, we had again probably something which is much more related to those parts. So it was here 25, here also we got 25, 25 is the square of 5. So here, let's see if it is something related to 17. The number is 289, and here it is 286. Uh, so probably 286 may not be an exact square because 1717 is 289 and 286 is probably not coming into picture. So maybe something is missing. Let's try to get some more clues. Let's try to read further what is there, what has been given. So here on this page number 293, right? First bicycle to ride on the water. And when he had read the Bible and talked about the wars to come and make his plane for the grey airship, he recalled the dream his mother had, which greatly disturbed him. She told him she dreamt that she saw San Francisco destroyed by some terrible machine and that one of her sons had nearly lost his life there. He thought of how his mother had told him about his oldest brother losing his life in the San Francisco earthquake, and he wondered if he was to lose his life there. Now, again, we get some relevance which is there about this San Francisco earthquake, right? Gann has always been talking about cycles within the cycles, and second thing is most important, he says that if you know the start point, that is the cause. you are able to understand the end point, that is the effect, right? So if we go by that principle, let's try to understand how things are there with the start point which is there for San Francisco earthquake. Now from the previous data we have already understood that the start date of San Francisco earthquake was 18th of April 1906. I'll just mark this in yellow. So probably we'll just take the dates and try to find out the end date. So this is a start date. We had a date which is there was Robert Gordon's birthday, but here we haven't got any date over in this specific pages till now. Let's see something which is there previously before that. If we are able to get a date, something like that. No date over here. And again at the start part till page 291, we are not able to get a date. 1906, again talking about the earthquake, so probably giving us various hints which are trying to get us towards the earthquake of 1906, right? But we have only the start date, we don't have the end date. Anything to do with the end date later on is probably here we have something of September 1930. Let's try to scan the page and see something if we are able to get some other relevant dates in this chapter. If it is there, nothing like it. If it is not there, let's try to take the September 1930 date and do some calculations. See, this is the game of probability. We need to understand this on the basis of various combinations and try to see which is the best combination possible. Just as I told you is, you need to see or maybe get hints from Sherlock Holmes. Second is, I used to get hints from Minesweeper because that was more about probabilities. Till here, we are not getting any date. No date again, no date, no date, and end of the chapter. So end of the chapter is, let's try to go at the initial parts, tries and see once again if we are able to get some kind of hits of the date. If it is not there, we start with September 1930. So September 1930, again, we are not getting a date exactly for that part. 26th chapter and date is September 1930. That is only the month and the year. So let's go at something probability is somewhere around mid of the month and do some calculations on the basis of that. So we consider the same mid date, that is 15th of September 1930. I'll just put it across into the date format so that we don't get confused. 15 in 1930. Right, so what we do is we do the same calculation, this date, the bigger date minus the smaller date, so that we get a positive answer. And probably these are the number of days that we are getting, right? So again, to do the calculation, what we'll do is we'll divide this by number of days in a year, which comes to 365. And we'll simply divide this complete part by 365. So it comes to 24.42. Again, try to come down to some specific parts. What we have to do is, we'll do one thing. We'll put 24 and we'll multiply that by 365. So it comes to 8760. So what we'll do is, we have this number of, this is 265 into 24. 24 was the number of years. So we know about these days. So what, let's try to do, this is years now. So years. So this is complete days, right? So let's try to do one thing. We would subtract 8916 minus these days. So this is 3876 is exactly 24 months. So we need to find out the number of remaining days which are there. So 156 is the number of days which is there. So I'll put down days, and maybe probably on the top it is days, and we'll try to convert this into months. So 156 divided by 30, we get as 5.2 months. So one thing is, we know how many number of days or months are there probably. Let's try to convert it into, for years we came to know that it was 24.42, and for number of months which is there, we'll apply a simple formula. We know it is 24, so we'll consider 24 into 12, so we get number of months, and plus we put down 5, so that we get from the top part, because this is the number of balance months which are there. So we get a figure which is 293. Let's try to find out some correlation together. What is 293 and what is that we had previously? In the data, we had page number 7 and page number 293. Okay, so this is something again talking about 293 especially. So we find one more coincidence over here, that from this we get the number of months, which is 293, and from this number of months we had this page number which is 293. So what happens with this 293 months more of? Let's try to dig in something more, try to analyze what happened on this day in terms of maybe astrology, astronomy, and find out something which is of relevance to this date, that is 18th of April 1906. So let's go again to Google and find out 18th of April 1906, San Francisco astrology. This is what I'm putting across. So we get various things together from this. What significant event did take place in US on April 18th, 1906? Nature, Astrodance, horoscope and astrology data of nature. Born. Okay, we don't have to go for that. Okay, it at quite well and featured a nasty square, including Neptune Uranus opposition. Okay, what is this Neptune Uranus opposition? Let's try to find that so that we will be able to get some details. Is the San Andreas fault ready to shift again? If you live in California, the risk of earthquake damage is even present, as the San Andreas fault runs right along the spine of the state. The most notorious of all the earthquakes in living memory was the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, which hit at around 7.5 on the Richter scale and claimed around 3,000 lives. That was in 1906. People have said that a repeat is now overdue. Looking at the astrology, in my opinion, we are definitely now in the danger zone for a new rupture along the fault line. So this is something which astrology says, and this is what are more of astrological charts. This is related to earthquake San Francisco 1906. Probably for this, some special softwares have been used. 1906 earthquake on 18th April 1906 hit at 5:12 a.m. and featured an STT square, including a Neptune Uranus opposition. So probably it was like Neptune was there on one place, Uranus was there on another place. I don't know where Earth was, and opposition connecting with the midheaven and square onto Mercury. From this place, I'm not pretty sure where is Mercury. We also had a Saturn Jupiter square in operation, with Jupiter sitting exactly at the midpoint of Mars and Pluto. So maybe this is Jupiter, and on one side we will be having Mars, and other side we should be having Pluto. Notice how Neptune, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and Saturn all fed into the midheaven Uranus junction at the top of the chart. So this is probably somewhere around all the planets. And on one side we have Neptune and probably Uranus on the opposite side, because they are talking about opposition. Opposition means 180 degrees. Conjunction at the top of the chart. Uranus on the above 1906 chart would have provided the shock factor to move the Earth. Both in 1857, the previous big earthquake at 7.9 on the Richter scale ruptured a 200-mile fault between Monterey and San Bernardino, and had transiting Saturn at 10-degree Cancer, opposite where Pluto is now. In my opinion, this 8-10-degree Capricorn Cancer axis must be very sensitive to planetary pressure in the California region. So probably something in that way related. So one thing we know is in scientific facts, not scientific facts, sorry, my apologies for that. In terms of astrology and astronomy, there was a 180-degree opposition between Uranus and Neptune. So this is what we get, probably because of something to do with the astrological part. This did happen. This is what we get from the articles which are there. And there should be something again related to the dates. This is why it happened. Uh, let's try to see one more topic. If we get some more information, it's always good to average out your positions. So get information from various things together. Two San Francisco earthquakes are typical examples on events caused by the tension between surface structures. 10th house and 4th house. I don't know which are this house. San Francisco earthquake of 1906. The date is same. Magnitude is been given. Numbers are same. First major catastrophe in urban cities of modernity. Neptune near the icy indicator of the ground below the epicenter, the gravity. Uranus in tight opposition to Neptune at midheaven indicates a sudden discharge of tension above the epicenter. Now we are, I guess, pretty clear why WD Gann was specially talking about uh, this date when the San Francisco earthquake did happen. And probably he was trying to get us across with those specific dates and trying to say us was this is something more important uh, in terms of astrology, because as I told you previously, yes, he did believe in astrology much, and that's why these things are there. And probably this dates which we see as a difference of 293 months would be something specific related to that, right? But here we saw about two important things. Is one is in the cotton market, something which is important is the moon cycles, because we saw that we had a comparison or maybe dates or maybe numbers which were coming to 24, which is rotation of earth around its own axis, and 27.3 is the number of days required for the moon to revolve around its own axis as well as to rotate around the earth, right? And here we came to know that the earthquake which happened on 18th of April to 1906 was because of the opposition, tight opposition between Uranus and Neptune, midheaven. So something like that. They were in opposite direction, and because of that, something did happen. This is as per WD Gann, and this is what he is telling. And that's it. I guess let's try to explore a few things one at a time and try to understand the further things also. But at this time, I guess this is what we'll be learning about, getting across to points one by one, right? And my one more request is, please do subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, which is Unit of Technical Analysis for Trading. Anything that you have to say, please do comment over there, like the videos which are there. And we also have this Unit of Technical Analysis channel on Telegram, Unit of Technical Analysis. If you go on Telegram, you will be able to find the link, and I'll also put across the link into the description for this video. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next video.